Hey folks, thanks for tuning in to our Mortgage Market Guide weekly recap. So up on the screen, you can see some green mortgage-backed securities on a Friday up 37 basis points. 10-year note 171. Some of the things we're thinking about at Mortgage Market Guide, we have obviously the elephant in the room, Russia and Ukraine, the uncertainty there. Every day the story gets worse. It's providing what they call a safe haven bid into the US dollar and US dollar denominated assets like treasuries, mortgage-backed securities. So US debt performing well, and global yields are declining. Even the German Bund is now minus 10 basis points. That helps lower our rates as well because there's those natural spreads between our 10-year note and their Bund, and because of Germany's proximity to the mess in Ukraine and Russia, we're seeing European yields come down, which also helps bring our yields down. The other part that, frankly, that is helping interest rates, and we have to watch this as mortgage bankers and brokers over the next several weeks, is that the Fed chair was out this week, and he talked hawkishly yesterday about they're going to hike rates. He said he was wrong on inflation, so that really spooked the market. That, like, oh my God, they got to hike rates a lot of times. And so one of the things that is going to happen, that's happening now, is we're watching the spread between the 2-year note and the 10-year note narrow. The 10-year note has been coming down, and it's now getting very, very close to the 2-year note yield. And when those get close, history has shown that's where you get closer to a recession. And back in 2018-19, the last time it got close, that was the bond market telling the Fed that you're overdoing it. You can't hike rates that many times. And they did that, fourth rate hike in 2018 in December, and stocks drove off a cliff. And 2019, the Fed had to spend the time, loosening rates. They actually had to cut rates. And so it's going to be very difficult for the Fed to manufacture an hour as a soft landing, because we have a lot of inflation, and their job is to try to crush, stomp out demand. He said that yesterday. Our job is to knock down demand so it matches up with supply. And but you can almost argue that how does high oil fit into all this? Because that's going to crush demand. If it stays persistently high as it is right now, it will have a meaningful impact on consumer sentiment, and we're already seeing it. Consumer sentiment right now, how people feel, it's at a recessionary type of level right now, and so the Fed's going to try to hike rates into conditions that have already tightened, by the way, right? I mean, the reason why the Fed's doing this is also to tighten monetary conditions, and we've already seen an uptick in mortgage rates and a real slowdown in activity. Certainly, purchase market has all been shut off. So, it wouldn't surprise us here at Mortgage Market Guide if we might have seen a peak in interest rates over the last week. If I go down here and I just look, this is where we were, where we found some support. And so, as a mortgage banker, I'm looking at par on that 3%, and I'm also looking at 2% as a ceiling, and those were hit a couple weeks ago. Those may be the peaks in rates. We shall see. Hope this finds you well. Next week we do have CPI, and again that consumer sentiment number. But going into this long weekend, it's all about Russia and Ukraine and this safe haven trade into our debt market. Hope this finds you well. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.